In this video, I open up my first F.O.C package and we talk a little bit about pre-ordering comic books. Stay tuned. What's going on, guys? Justin here, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. Wanted to do a video based on the first time that I got my F.O.C order in. F.O.C meaning the final order cutoff for new books. If you're not familiar with it, it's where you can, basically pre-order books in advance. I think it's like 3 weeks or 3 months in advance or so. So I decided to go through a website called Sanctum Sanctorum comics.com. Big shout out to them. And also I want to give a big shout out to Team Nerd Herd, because those are the guys that kind of talked a little bit about, or at least more or less introduced me to the idea of really going through and pre-ordering through these F.O.C dates. Now, I've heard about F.O.C dates for a long time. For whatever reason, I never really explored it, never really took that extra jump ahead of time to pre-order certain books. I always just waited for my LCS. But, it's become a more and more popular thing, I think, in the comic book community. And I see a lot more people doing F.O.C videos and giving hints of, what they are going to be buying and books to keep an eye out for. And of course, yeah, like you can get this jump on these books if you are, looking to grab something well before, so that you don't miss out, or if something sells out at your LCS, that you have a copy guaranteed coming to your house beforehand. The other cool thing about a lot of these, depending on what website you use, or even your LCS, certain websites will give you discounts if you do a pre-order with them. So something to keep in mind. I know that, the other idea of it is you can get the little code that goes along with that book and bring that to your LCS. If you want to keep this, within your LCS and keep supporting them, then you can bring it to them and ask them, again, it has to be before the F.O.C date, which is the final order cutoff date. So as long as you get that number to your LCS before that, they should be able to order it for you or pre-order it for you, so that it'll come into your shop on the day of New Comic Book Day during that time that it comes out. So like I said, it is something that happens in advance. This little package that I got here, this is stuff that I ordered back in October, I think, or November. I guess it must have been November. And then the books themselves actually came out in January. So just to give you a little idea of what time these books came in when I ordered them. Like I said, I wanted to give a shout out to the Team Nerd Herd crew, because they were talking a lot about this and kind of inspired me to go ahead and start looking ahead to order some books that I wanted to get. So, shout out to them. I know it was Ian and JR specifically were two that really highlighted this website for me. And as I started to explore, and I know there are, like I said, many other websites that you can check out and explore and look into in terms of ordering some of these books. So I'm going to jump into this. This is actually I actually opened the box already, so this is how it came packaged. We'll dive into that and see what we got. And of course, before we get into the books, please take a moment, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you're new here, welcome. I appreciate you stopping by and checking out this video. Let's get into the books. Okay, so we got 9 books in total, and I'm going to kick it off with the indie titles, and then we'll go into DC, and then we'll wrap up with Marvel. So the first one up is Crossover, issue number 3. Number three. This was an interesting one, because when I initially put an order for this, I did not realize that there were going to be all these different variants. Now, again, as I was saying before, obviously this book's been out now for a little while, and this is... I didn't realize that there were going to be so many different variants of this particular issue, of this particular cover, I should say. If you didn't know, Donny Cates changed the cover of this little book right here to be a couple of different, I think there's like 7 or 8 different variants of this particular variant, with Spawn, and this is God Country. There's a couple other ones as well. So when I initially put this as an order in, I wasn't specific, or didn't notice anyways, which one I was selecting. And so I got the God Country one. I don't think I own it, so that works out pretty well. So this book right here, overall, I like the concept of it. I like the idea. I do like the artwork as well. It just doesn't quite hit home for me, and I've shared that in the past before. It just doesn't quite hit home because I don't know enough of some of the random characters that they kind of re-bring up that are just from other stories and things like that. So I don't know. I'm going to keep seeing where this goes. I'm going to continue to read it, but it's kind of where I stand with it right now. You know, I'm going to give the first arc a shot altogether. So continue reading it for now. But anyways, so crossover issue number 3, one of those variants. Next one up is Boom Studios' The Red Mother. And I don't know if you guys, I haven't read this at all yet, but I've heard some really great things about it. The artwork looks amazing. And I mean, I'm a sucker for red and black covers too. So there were a lot of those with this whole series. I think it's a 12-issue series. This is issue number 12. It's by Jeremy Hahn and Danny Luckert. Who's doing the artwork there. So heard some really good things. I'm really getting into these like darker indie type books, these horror type books and things like that. So don't know anything about it, don't know what it's about. I do own issue number 1, and this is issue number 12 now that I own. So I will dive into that at some point, probably going to buy that digitally. But and hey, Boom Studios is absolutely killing it. So that was another thing. Just wanted to get on board with checking out all the different titles that Boom's been doing, because I've heard just so many good things about a lot of different titles there. So that was another reason I wanted to put that book on the list. All right, so switching over to DC, we're going to go with, I only have 2 DC books here. It's Future State Wonder Woman, issue number 1. And this is the first full appearance of Yara Flora. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of hype about this, a lot of hype about the idea of her. I really enjoyed this first issue. I've talked about this in previous videos, so I won't go into too much detail, but definitely thought that this was worth a read. I know the second issue is actually coming out very soon, so looking forward to that. I think it's just a 2-part issue, at least for this particular story, but I really love the artwork. This is all Joelle Jones, and she just does an amazing job. Does an amazing job with the story, amazing job with the artwork. So highly recommended. There's that right there, and then I also got one of the variants of that as well, which was definitely harder to find in stores. I mean, trying to order from my LCS and stuff, I was trying to get a second copy. It was already sold out. So I'm glad that I put this in an order for final order cutoff before the date. So that worked out. I thought this was a really cool cover as well. And like I said, I'm looking forward to reading issue number 2. Okay, let's get into some Marvel. We have another 5 books here. So first book is issue number 2 of X of Swords. This is something I'm not caught up yet on. If you guys have been following me over on Instagram, I've talked about this several times, that I'm kind of taking my time with the X titles and reading them as they come out as part of the Marvel Unlimited app. So because I'm already paying for that on a monthly basis. So a lot of the X titles I've just been reading as they come out or are released on there. So it's about 3 months behind to give you an idea. So I'm definitely still catching up on a lot of stuff, but have not actually got to the X of Swords story arc yet. I'm almost there. I'm really close. I'm just about done through the first 2 story arcs of every X title. So, or at least, you know, the ones that initially started off. So I think I just finished like X-Men 12 or maybe X-Men 13. Something like that, and so still going through a lot of that stuff, but this looks so cool. Just love the artwork here. Magneto, of course, just dominating over the top of the other 3, and I don't know if oh, this is a Daughterman. Okay, so that explains it. This is Russell Dauterman, who guys, if you follow me on Instagram, I love Russell Dauterman, love his work, what he does with this series. And so again, when I saw this on the site over at Sanctum Sanctorum, I added that to the cart because I did not want to miss out on that beautiful artwork. The next one up is, I actually forgot. This is another thing about when you pre-order stuff, right? After a while, you start to forget what you ordered, unless you, I mean, you really got to go back and like look at your receipt in your email to make sure that you don't, you know, buy doubles or triples or whatever. But this is something I completely forgot that I ordered, and I'm glad that I got it now because I read this after the fact, after like a week and a half, 2 weeks after it came out. This is Eternals, issue number 1, and this is a variant. Is this J. Scott Campbell? Yeah, J. Scott Campbell variant, and this is just a beautiful book. Don't really see it in the store anymore, and I would like to get cover A though as well. I know they came out with a lot of variants in general for this Eternals book, but and I'm not a big fan of like buying every variant or anything like that. But there were a couple that I liked. This was the main one, and I figured, okay, well, let me just give it a shot and pick this one up. I ended up again, because this takes a week or 2 to actually get to your house if you're pre-ordering stuff. A week or 2 from the date that it comes out, then yeah, you got to wait a little bit. So I actually downloaded this. I actually purchased it on the Marvel app. Actually, it's probably Comixology now that I think about it. But Eternals this was a great read, a really great read, and it's Esad Ribic, which I didn't realize at the time when this first came out that Esad Ribic was handling the artwork for this. So was really excited to see that it was him. It definitely had vibes that brought me back to like the Thor: God of Thunder with Jason Aaron, and how Esad Ribic did all the artwork for that, or a majority of the artwork. So it was absolutely beautiful. And I would like to get cover A at some point. I actually did not pick up cover A, but now that I've, again, connected that it's Esad Ribic and he did cover A, I would like to get my hands on that. But very good read if you guys haven't had a chance to check that out. Okay, the next book that I have here is, well, there's a lot of hype with this book. And these last three actually are all variants, but I'll go with the cover A first. This is Star Wars High Republic. And I know this is like just been insane because there's a bunch of first appearances and Star Wars fans are just going nuts for it right now. Obviously with the extra announcements and the hype that's been going on from Disney Plus and all the things that they have in store for us for the Star Wars world in general. So it's a really exciting time to be a fan of Star Wars. I've always been a fan of Star Wars. Obviously love the movies, and that's just been the main thing I've always been into. Even the the newer stuff that came out and everything. I always tried to go see stuff in theater whenever I could. So always a fan of that stuff. Starting to get into some of the animated series stuff. Always heard good things about that. So I'm starting to take some time to watch some of that stuff. It's definitely time consuming. But in the meantime, I was like, okay, this would be a perfect time for me to jump into some comic books from Star Wars, because I never really got into Star Wars comics. So that was something, Dark Horse and all that stuff. I totally missed the boat on all that stuff when, the big hype came out. Never really went out of my way to get any of that stuff. So, I just thought this was a good time to do so. So I'm very happy that I did, because I pre-ordered this for cover price, and the other two books as well I got for cover price. So really happy about this. This is one of the variants here. I think this is the, this is cover B. Very cool with all of the different lightsabers there, guys holding them up. By the way, the story arc itself was really good. I mean, I really enjoyed this first issue, and I highly recommend, if you get a chance to just read it. I know this is like very expensive book now, but it's hyped up now, but you could order it online or whatever, read it digitally. It's definitely worth a read. And then I got this beautiful Stephanie Hahn variant as well, which it's actually, I think, my second copy, because I was able to order one from an LCS that put one aside for me. So this was just the second one, which worked out, because obviously there's a lot of hype going on with this book, and I just love the artwork. Got Yoda down there chilling, and it's just a beautiful cover. So really happy with that. And like I said, it worked out ordering these, pre-ordered a lot of these. So if you guys are new to the whole idea of the final order cutoff date pre-ordering stuff, I highly recommend looking into it, and maybe you start with your LCS. Just start there, talk with them first, see what the details are, because I know that there is a little barcode that you would have to provide them with, unless it's like some obvious title. You could probably, actually, a majority of the books, you probably could just tell them, hey, I'd like to pre-order this book. If it's like Daredevil or some name that's been out for a while, they'll probably already know exactly what you're talking about. But if it's something unique, if it's like an indie cover or an indie book or a first issue that hasn't really been talked about yet, from one of these unique publishers, I would say make sure you really follow up with your LCS ahead of time. Talk to them about it, see what information they would need in order to pre-order it for you. But hey, that way you have it. It's guaranteed to show up for you at your LCS. You can still support your LCS, so it's all a plus. I do try to do that a little bit with, look, I order pre-books, but I still buy books too, on the day of. So I'm always trying to, work with my LCSs, which I have a few now, that I reach out to, and they put books aside for me. But this is just another angle or another way that you can kind of secure these books for yourself if you are worried that the books are going to sell out, or if you're into speculation and you want to take a shot on buying a specific book a few different times, or multiple copies of a certain book. That's another way to go about it. Otherwise, like I said, it's just a safe way for you to get the books. So look into that. For these books that I just opened up here, like I said in the beginning of the video, they are from Sanctum Sanctorum comics.com. I will put the information in the description below. They've been great. I mean, I have other things coming, so I'll probably do some more videos down the road with some final order cutoff videos. And yeah, I think I'm going to have them at least now. I started ordering back in October, November, so they should start, coming into to the mail in these next, couple weeks or months now as we go through the year. So looking forward to more of that. And I think that's all I had to say. Like button, hit the like button, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. Would love to hear your thoughts on the final order cutoff, the idea of pre-ordering books. Do you do it often? Do you do it for specific books, or do you do it for everything? Do you go through your LCS? Do you do it through a specific website otherwise? Would love to know that information in the comment section below, so looking forward to that. Until next time, I appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you later.